Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again I'm coming to you with another range report. And today's range report I think is going to tickle the fancy of quite a few of my subscribers because they like 1911s, and they're also big fans of 38 Super. And this gun is the combination of both. Today we are taking a look at a very beautiful Kimber. This is the Team Match II. Man, do 1911s look good in stainless steel. Look at that. That is just one beautiful gun. This is obviously a competition gun from Kimber, probably a competition to the Colt Gold Cup series. Now, I will say that when I first got into shooting 1911s, a Kimber was my very first one. No, I did not own it, but it was a friend's. And so Kimbers have always held a very special place in my heart. Maybe it's just a little bit of nostalgia, but hey, we all love the first guns that we shot. And since I got into guns in 1911s, I collected Colts because they're kind of the OG manufacturer. But I have reviewed Kimbers in the past. I've liked them. I've never had an issue. Now, some people tell me when I read the internet forums, hey, Kimbers now suck. They're not like they used to be. Well, we're going to find out if that is the case. But all my experiences with Kimbers in the past have actually been pretty darn good. But before we get into the features of this gun and the things that I like and don't like, as always, I want to thank the people that make these videos possible. First and foremost is the owner of this awesome Kimber, who was so nice to lend it to the channel, my good friend Jack. You guys have heard me talk about him a number of times. He has an awesome collection, so thank you so much, Jack. As always, I want to thank my Patreons because through their monthly donations and support, they help keep the lights on around here. You guys know us content creators on YouTube, especially the gun channels, need all the help that we can get because YouTube is always trying to demonetize us, so they help keep all of this content coming. And as always, I want to thank my primary sponsor who makes all these range reports feasible because he provides all of the ammunition, my good friend Mark from Brownworks. And if you're here watching this video, I know you're a big fan of 1911s, and you probably have a nice collection of them, and you're thinking to yourself, you know, I don't like these basic grips on my gun. I would like something special, one of a kind, maybe with a custom logo, some type of custom engraving, a custom texture, or maybe something made out of an exotic wood. Well, I have the perfect company for you, Brownworks. And as I mentioned, they make some of the best grips on the market, and 1911s are some of their specialties. I know that I'm rolling in some footage right now of Mark's best work. Look at these beautiful 1911 grips. He can customize them to your heart's desire, regardless of the model of 1911 and what features are on them. If you have a magwell or not, he can make sure that they fit your 1911 perfectly. So I'm going to put a link in the comments section below. I want you guys to go over there, check out and see what he has to offer. And if you contact him, which he has some of the best customer service in the industry, make sure you tell him exactly what you're looking for, what your idea is, and I guarantee you he will come up with something for you. He'll run a number of ideas and say, hey, I can do this, what do you think? And when you get those grips, I know it will bring a smile to your face. So please go over there, check out Brownworks' website, and when you do, tell him the Texas Gun Vault sent you. Alright, so let's talk about exactly what this gun is and all of its features. Being the Team Match II, this is a 1911 that I believe is mainly designed for competition shooting. However, you definitely could use it for personal protection, home defense. You could use it for just basic practical shooting and something at the range. But this is going to be a 1911 that's going to have a little bit tighter tolerances, designed more for accuracy and competition shooting. Most likely has a tuned trigger. So it is in stainless steel, and you have to admit, a stainless steel 1911 looks fantastic. Among some of the features we have on this gun, we have some very nice checkering on the front strap and the back strap. We do have an extended beaver tail right here, a nice large portion of it where it would go into your hand for that grip safety. We have ambidextrous controls, which are extended. That's really nice. We have some adjustable sights in the rear, and the sights are of course dovetailed. We have cocking serrations here in the front. We also have a full-length guide rod. Some people like that, some people don't. We also have a magwell here in the bottom. So this thing is decked out to the nines with what I like to say is everything you want in a 1911 and nothing that you don't. It is just a superb 1911. And I guess something else I could talk about is it does have a skeletonized hammer and a skeletonized trigger. It just looks absolutely beautiful and it feels very balanced in the hand, even though it is a little bit on the heavier side compared to most 1911s. So let's talk about the things that I like and don't like. And well, pretty much everything I like about this gun is everything I literally just mentioned. Maybe I'm just old school, but when it comes to 1911s, I like them just like this. There's a lot of upgrades from John Browning's design, but nothing that I don't think he wouldn't have approved of. It feels like a 1911, it looks like a 1911, it's classy, it looks upgraded, but it still is at its heart a classic 1911. So pretty much everything I just said about this gun is what I like about it. But now when it comes to the two things about this gun that I don't like, well, I guess one is kind of qualitative, and the other I think is an important issue that needs to be addressed. Well, the thing that I think is qualitative is all of the markings on this are laser engraved. Some of the older Kimbers used to have a roll stamp, and so while I don't necessarily want to show you the close-up of the serial number where it says Kimber, Yonkers, New York, USA, and the serial number, it's laser etched or laser engraved in there, and it just doesn't look as nice as a roll stamp. Now, personally, I understand why they went to it. It's quicker, it's easier, it's more effective, but I've seen laser engravings that look better than that. It just looks a little bit cheap and chintzy, and when you're buying a match grade gun, I kind of expect the markings to look nice and deep and clear, and they don't on this. The other issue is the magazines. Now, when I picked this up from Jack, he told me I might have some issues with these. Now, these are the two magazines that did ship with the firearm, and sometimes they don't hold open the slide. Now, I have checked this with other 1911 magazines, and I'm pretty sure it's the magazines and not the gun. In fact, let me show you the two followers in these mags. And the portion of the follower, which pushes up on the slide stop, as you can see on these two, look a little bit different. Now, I don't know why that is. One of these magazines works a lot better than the other. So I'll go ahead and tell you that when I load these up, and by the way, these hold 9 rounds of .38 Super, when I shoot the gun, I'm always counting. So I know if the slide does not lock open after the last round, I know to check the gun. So just be aware of that. You might see that a couple of times in the range footage. But speaking of the range footage, let's go to the range and let's see how this thing shoots. And as always, I'm going to set the target at 7 yards. Now, I'm going to try 2 different loadings of .38 Super. In the past, when I've shot guns chambered in this caliber, sometimes the weaker loaded rounds from certain manufacturers have a hard time cycling in these guns. So the first magazine I'm going to shoot through this is going to be PPU. The other one is going to be Federal. I'm going to show that before I shoot the firearm. I can tell you that the PPU stuff is definitely a lot hotter than the Federal is. So you guys can see the 2 different performances of these rounds. All right, so let's get to the range. 7 yards, 2 magazines. Let's see how this gun shoots, and does it live up to the hype of being a match grade 1911. Now, as you saw, that second magazine did not hold open the slide, and I'm reviewing this with the factory magazines. I think it's important that I do this and not change out the mags, because these are the magazines that are shipped with the gun. So obviously Kimber must have tested these magazines and said, hey, these are the ones we recommend and like in our firearms. But why I'm having this issue, I don't know. Now, it could be that Federal ammunition, which was a little bit weaker, and you probably saw a few weak ejections there, might not have had the slide come all the way back and reciprocate it fully. But regardless of that, even here on the workbench and at the range, sometimes when I rack the slide, the magazine does not hold open. It's kind of a 50-50 thing. So you guys can tell me what the issue is. I showed you those followers, and maybe you guys have had problems with these magazines in the past, but that's why I am reviewing them with the factory magazines. So how did the gun shoot? I thought it shot really good. Very accurate for me. The trigger is really nice, very crisp break on this thing, and the gun seems to be a little bit weighty and absorbs the recoil of that 38 Super really well. So when it comes to the performance of the firearm, so far I'm loving it. The magazines, but that could be fixed by changing the mags, but these are the mags that Kimber ships with the gun, so I'm expecting them to run right. All right, so now I'm going to double the distance on this target. I'm going to go for the head on this IDPA target, see if this grouping opens up any, but this gun is shooting great. So let's put another mag to this thing and see how it shoots at a little bit further distance for me. And man, when it comes to the performance of this firearm, that is exactly what I would want to see. The accuracy on this thing is great. It is such a naturally shooting firearm. When John Browning designed the 1911, I really don't think the grip angle and the grip design was an afterthought. I really think he took some time going, what is going to be the most natural grip for this firearm? And I think he just perfected it from the very beginning. This gun feels so natural in my hand. It's one of those reasons why people just love the 1911. It just feels like an extension of your hand. So I'm really happy with that grouping. That was so easy to shoot. It just feels so good. All right, so now I'm going to shoot this against a barrier or bench rest it, trying to take as much of the human element out of it as possible. And this gun is shooting great. So I'm expecting at 25 yards to actually have a pretty darn good group for me. So let me reset up the target at a further distance. Let me shoot this against a barrier and see how it performs. And after shooting that, I can definitely tell the difference between this match grade 1911 and a mil-spec 1911. I can just tell it's a little bit tighter with the tolerances. It feels so much nicer. I can see why people would want a 1911 like this for competition. I'm really happy with this trigger, and I would assume, as I said, any gun that has the name Team Match II on it, that is also the special USA Shooting Team Edition, would have a finely tuned trigger. I'm sure a custom gunsmith spent some time with this to make sure it was just right, and it feels great. I'm shooting this 1911 better than pretty much any other 1911 that I've ever shot. All right, so the next test I'm going to do is kind of a combination of a number of things. I'm going to see, number one, can I shoot this gun fast? Number two, could I use it in a home defense scenario where I had to change out the magazines really fast? And number three, this gun is so natural in my hand. Can I point shoot it well? Well, let me shoot this gun fast, change out the magazine really fast, and point shoot it. Let's see what the results are. Well, as an average gun guy, I can tell you, I think I can shoot this gun pretty fast, and I can change this magazine out really fast. And let me tell you, this magwell does a great job in helping with a quick reinsertion of the magazine. And when it comes to being a natural shooter, well, as you saw, all the rounds were on target. So I am very happy with that. And I'm just an average gun guy. So this thing is doing great, except for the magazines. All right, so the next test I want to do is give my wife Becky a chance to shoot this. She loves 1911s. Now, she doesn't like the snappier cartridges. Now, I wouldn't say 38 Super is necessarily a snappy cartridge. She definitely prefers 9mm though. But I'm curious what she's going to think, because this isn't over the top, customized with a very aggressive grip. It's just a nice feeling 1911. And is she going to shoot it really well? Well, I hope so. So let me load up a magazine and see how she does. Now, I think you saw some cuts in that shooting footage, so let me tell you what happened. We were using the Federal ammunition. It's what we had left. And I think maybe with her weaker hands, while it doesn't look like she was limp wristing, well, maybe the gun was flipping a little bit too much and the gun was short stroking and not picking up the next round out of the magazine. So I think that was the main issue. The gun was a little bit heavier for her. She definitely likes polymer, lighter handguns. This is an all metal handgun, a little bit big, a little bit beefy for her. So maybe that was the issue. But she did say when it came to shooting it, she did like how it felt in her hand. And surprisingly, while she is normally very grip sensitive, she did like that checkering in the front and the back. And she said it felt great because you have a nice double diamond texture on the side. And this is just the right amount of aggressiveness that she likes to keep the gun stable in her hand. So it's a typical 1911 to her. She doesn't look at this and go, ooh, I like all these features. She just looks at a gun and goes, do I shoot it well? And does it feel good in my hand? And overall, I think she did pretty good, but she liked the way it felt in her hand. All right, so what are my final thoughts on the Team Match II US Shooting Team Edition from Kimber, a beautiful stainless steel 1911. As I said, this gun pretty much has everything that I would want in a 1911 and nothing that I wanted. Every upgrade, every option is exactly like how I would personally want it. Maybe I'm a little old school. I know there's a lot more cool and innovative features like them being cut for red dot optics on a 1911. I like it this way though. So I'm really happy with its performance. It's super accurate for me. The only issues are the magazines. And yeah, I think that can easily be remedied by using other magazines. However, as I said, I wanted to do this review with the factory magazines because these are the ones that ship with the gun. And I'm assuming these are the ones that Kimber recommends. So I have to take that into consideration. But the gun performed and exceeded my expectations. And if the magazines were an issue, it would easily be a 5 out of 5 star review. But with the magazine issue, 4.75 stars out of 5, almost perfect. This gun is the nicest Kimber I have ever shot, and for me, it was very accurate and very reliable. Just change out those magazines, and man, is that beautiful. I love stainless 1911s. It just has that right look. So what do you guys think? Are you guys fans of Kimber? I know some of you are, and some of you aren't. But I know almost everybody that watches my channel is a fan of the 1911. Just a timeless design. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. And does the Team Match II from Kimber interest you? Are you interested in match grade guns? Or do you like mil spec? Tell me in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching. You were actually going to use it. So it's a very natural shooting gun for me. This thing is olive.